Hey everyone, Caleb Masters here with a quick spoiler-free review of Spider-Man Brand New Day.
I'm Spider-Man.
Overall, I have a lot of very mixed feelings about Spider-Man Brand New Day. On the positive side, I'm very happy to report that after spending a decade fighting a bunch of Tony Stark's battles for him, traveling to outer space, or even taking a deep dive into the multiverse, that Spider-Man is back in New York City. It starts as a back to the basics Spider-Man story about loss, isolation, and loneliness. Most crucially, it remembers that Peter Parker's greatest battles are not fighting supervillains in the streets of New York City, but rather they are fought in the everyday struggle to balance the competing responsibilities of Spider-Man, taking care of New York City, fighting crime, being there for the people that he loves the most, and also finding a way to take care of himself and provide for his own needs. And I would say that this film is at its best when it's leaning on the chemistry and genuinely heartfelt scenes between the core trio that we've seen in the previous films, that is Peter Parker, MJ, and Ned. And then also give a huge shout out to one of my favorite additions to this film, which is John Barenthal's Frank Castle, aka the Punisher. And I'd also even say that Sadie Sink's is a welcome addition here. More on that in our spoiler-filled podcast coming next month. So this film gets a lot right, but, and this is a big one, I do believe that these characters' journeys are largely buried under an overstuffed plot. As more and more MCU characters, there's a number of guest appearances that I won't spoil here, enter the story, the film becomes increasingly caught up in a very tangled web of plot mechanics. The story kind of loses the thread. There are simply too many MCU guest appearances and too much setup for future projects that ultimately do not serve the characters. There's been a lot of hype and talk around the action scenes in this particular film. It's a pretty mixed bag for me. There are some amazing street level fights, lots of cool things that you can see. This is actually probably shot in the streets of New York or on a really good soundstage. For every one of those, there are at least two scenes that look like Tom Holland and Zendaya are flying on webs inside the virtual production stage of The Volume. Feels weightless, not a lot of gravity to it. Lastly, I've got to give a shout out to the film's real MVP, which is Michael Giacchino's Brand New Day score. I would go ahead and give this a B-. I think it's really refreshing to get another Spider-Man film that has a very strong thesis. It's very reminiscent of the Sam Raimi films. I do think at the end of the day, the film gets a little too distracted by the MCU connections and setup to really fully land that plane emotionally. Thanks for follow the Cinematropolis on your social media profiles and subscribe to our podcast, The Cinematic Schematic, in order to get our in-depth spoiler-filled discussion of Spider-Man Brand New Day coming at you next month.